Throughout history, there have been crimes that were heavily investigated, widely reported, and never solved. In this video, we're looking at some of the most infamous unsolved cases in history. These are real cases based on publicly available information and remains unsolved. But before we start, I would like to remind all of you to give a like if you find this video interesting, and if you want to see some more unsolved cases, consider subscribing. It really helps the channel a lot. Let's start off this video talking about one of the most brutal cases in history, the Black Dahlia murder. This case dates all the way back to 1947, where a 22-year-old Elizabeth Short was found unalived in a vacant lot in the Leimert Park neighborhood of Los Angeles. What made this case so brutal was the victim's condition. Elizabeth's body has been severely mutilated and was cut in half at the waist. I can't show an actual picture of the body because of YouTube policy, but if you look up Black Dahlia body on Google, you will definitely understand why. The killer has never been identified to this day. There has been countless suspects questioned, but none of them were actually found guilty. A lot of theories have surrounded this case, but all of them have never been proven to be true. Next on our list is one of the most famous unsolved crimes in history, Jack the Ripper. I bet that you have definitely heard of this name before, as it has been in a lot of pop culture reference. Jack the Ripper was the name given to an unidentified serial killer active in London's Whitechapel district back in 1888. Between August and November 1888, at least 5 women, known as the canonical victims, were murdered. The victims were primarily impoverished women, and the killings involved throat cutting and severe mutilation, suggesting the killer had some anatomical knowledge. The crimes occurred late at night in or near public streets. Over time, many suspects and theories have been suggested, but none have been proven. More than a century later, the killer's identity is still unknown, and the case is often studied because of how early police work and media coverage affected the investigation. The Zodiac Killer was also one of the more famous cases. The suspect, known as the Zodiac Killer, was an unidentified criminal who operated in Northern California in the late 1960s. The victims were young couples and a taxi driver. What made this case unusual was that the killer interacted with the media. He sent letters and cryptic ciphers to newspapers, claiming responsibility for the attacks and threatening more violence. Some of these messages were partially decoded years later, but they did not reveal his identity. The last one on our list is one of the more creepier ones. The Hinterkaifeck Murders happened in 1922 on a small farm in Germany, where a family of 6 were brutally murdered with a pickaxe. Before the murders started, neighbors reported strange occurrences: footprints in the snow leading to the farm, unexplained noises in the attic, and the family mentioning a stranger on their property. Despite this, no one suspected danger until the bodies were found days later. The case remains unsolved. The killer's identity was never discovered, and the motive is still unknown, making Hinterkaifeck one of Germany's most infamous cold cases. These cases differ in location and time period, but they share one thing in common: none of them were ever solved. Despite years of investigation and a lot of theorizing, these cases remain open. They continue to be studied because they show the limits of criminal investigation and the long-lasting impact of unresolved crimes. Of all the cases mentioned, which one do you think has the best chance of being solved in the future? Let me know in the comments, and I will see you in the next case.